Welcome to KDKP Noire. I'm K Noire, and today we're just talking a lot of things. It's been a busy couple of weeks. As you can see, I haven't been on. It's been graduation, Mother's Day, Met Gala. It's been everything. But we're here today. So let's get started. BTS, Lisa, all have been confirmed for the largest sports stage in the nation at this point, the World Cup. Yes, Lisa will be performing at the U.S. World Cup opening ceremonies starting in June. Guess who's confirmed for the closing ceremonies halftime show? BTS is going to be headlining that show along with Madonna and Shakira. Now let's just put this into context, okay? Madonna, Shakira, both worldwide stages, names, you name it. Both of those two artists have had the largest concert viewing appearances in the world ever to take place. And that's just been over in the last 2 years. So with BTS coming in and headlining that, you know K-pop is taking over the world. I love it. I absolutely love it. Yes, I think that if you're interested in soccer, the World Cup, FIFA, the whole thing, you've got to be tuned into this. If you can get tickets, go by all means. I love this. And I said it was a precursor because I believe if they do well on this stage, the NFL Super Bowl has got to be an option. I'm just saying, Jay-Z, Live Nation, whoever you are that's booking these appearances at the Super Bowl, these headlining acts, you cannot ignore the fact that K-pop is in the building. You've got to make note of this. This is happening, people, and it's happening now. So look out for that and continue to support BTS. They are touring worldwide now, specifically here in the United States. So you've got to catch them if you haven't. They just shut down the Bay Area the other day. So, I mean, people were paying like $700, $900, $2,000 for tickets and VIP sections. So, who does that anymore with the economy the way that it is? You've got to know that the K-pop presence is real. So, stay tuned. Now, that Mark from NCT SM Entertainment that left, that shocked the world, and I'm still kind of picking myself up off the floor from that, is being recruited by none other than Scooter Braun. Now, if you don't know who Scooter Braun is, for those of you who are in the States and otherwise, Scooter Braun, he produces talents like Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, and he's Canadian. Justin Bieber is Canadian. I'm sure there's a connection somewhere. If that happens, that's huge. That is huge, huge. But in addition to that, allegedly, he's being also recruited or courted or whatever you pursued by Def Jam Recordings. Now, those of you who don't know who Def Jam is, Def Jam was huge back in the day. They had legendary acts, Run DMC, you name it, they did it. They were part of the hip hop movement in general. Now, recently, Def Jam has, catapulted the careers of SZA and Khalid. And if you know anything about those two individuals, their start has been phenomenal. And, SZA just came off a world tour with none other than Kendrick Lamar. So you can't tell me this is not huge for him. If he's being pursued by them, this would be life-changing for Def Jam. And I'm going to tell you why. With Def Jam still in the business and still having a presence, for them to recruit and possibly sign Mark from SM NCT would be huge for them. And it would be huge because it would turn around their business with a K-pop, R&B, hip-hop type of element, because Mark brings all of that. He definitely is the person that could do all of those things. I always called him the franchise player in NCT, and I said that because you can plug and play him anywhere and he would own the room. That's just who he is. So if this happens with Def Jam, I'm just saying if, or with Scooter Braun. It's life changing for him. It's life changing for us as music lovers because we win either way he goes. So if he goes with Scooter Braun and his production and his crew and his pursuit, we win because the talent that Scooter Braun has put out. But if he goes with Def Jam, we win as well too, because that would change the game for hip hop R&B total, with an SM component, K-pop component. SM, as you know, does R&B like none other in the business, does rap like none other in the business. They were the blueprint for all of this starting up in K-pop. So if he goes either way, we win. But in other news, we're talking to none other than NewJeans. This will not die. People will not let it rest. They're being sued along with Hybe, Adore, in this huge lawsuit for the song How Sweet. Now, there are 4 American songwriters who are alleging that they stole the lyrics, the tune, the sound, the whole creative aspect of How Sweet from them. So they are suing Adore, Hybe, and NewJeans as a unit for that song. Now, some people have listened to it and said, similarities, not so much, maybe. I mean, these days, I think you will see that people kind of sample so many different things and music sounds similar across the board in some cases. However, these 4 American songwriters are saying, not so much. We're not letting it die. This was our song and this is what you did with it. So we're here. And Adore is saying, we'll fight to the end because we don't think that is something that we are, even worried about per se. We'll fight it. Adore is saying they didn't do anything. So we'll see how that fight goes. But in additional news with that, now Adore is still pursuing. They're pursuing Danielle and Min Hee Jin for the collapse of the contract, allegedly from NewJeans. Danielle continued to just go, and she exited the group along with Min Hee Jin for other legal suits that we've been talking about forever and a day. And I'm tired of talking about them, but here we are again. Now, Hybe has lent Adore their legal team. Now, this is huge because Adore's previous legal team, they got rid of in pursuit of this particular court battle with Danielle and Min Hee Jin. Midstream, that can cause a delay. The Seoul District Court has said, continue to move forward. We're not giving anybody time. Your choice to change the lawyers were your choice. They just have to play catch up and meet us at the trial date that we're now putting ahead. So again, they're still pursuing Danielle and Min Hee Jin's assets, specifically Min Hee Jin's mom, Danielle's mom and father's properties. So they're pursuing them. Now, allegedly, these properties are worth about $2 billion for Danielle, $7 billion for Min Hee Jin's mom, and that's in won. That puts that. But if you equate that to U.S. dollars and the lawsuit that Adore has with Danielle, which is $30 million, and the continuing lawsuits with Min Hee Jin, that's a small portion to that. And I guess they're just going to say they're going to collectively pursue until they get whatever it is that they're after, whether it's that set amount, those set amounts that they put in place, or otherwise. So we'll keep our eyes on this one because I don't think we're finished talking about it. Here we are, almost a year and a half, 2 years later, we're still talking about the fallout of NewJeans. But in other news with NewJeans, let's talk about a little bit of happiness. It appears that they're still in talks with Minji, Adore is, and they're saying that it's positive. And they showed pictures of Minji celebrating her birthday with these cookies for the bunnies and so forth on, the NewJeans Instagram accounts and Weverse accounts and all that kind of stuff. And so it put fans into a different aspect saying, hey, maybe she still is coming back. The talks, what they say about the talks being positive, have to be kind of right. And then we had Hayren, which was one of the younger members who just turned 20, and they celebrated her birthday as well too. So we're thinking that they're moving toward coming back. These girls are just ready to move on and do what they do. You can't take away the fact that NewJeans is who they are. Their talent is unbelievable. And they came into the industry and did something that we haven't seen in a long time. So I hope these girls get it together, whether there's 3, there's 4, there's more. I don't care at this point. I just hope they come back and they come back strong. So moving right along, I mentioned Khalid earlier and Josep and their new music that they got coming out. But people were extremely surprised when Josep did an interview and he stated that he used to be part of JYP Entertainment for about maybe 2 years, 3 years, somewhere in there. But he said he was recruited to be a trainee for the group GOT7. But I think it was important to note, Josep could have been part of GOT7. Like, really? GOT7? I love GOT7. But he would have been part of that group? That's huge. But he said, although he had the singing chops to do that, he did not have the dancing chops. And he knows that being a K-pop idol, you kind of need both to kind of succeed. How many artists get the opportunity to pivot from K-pop to K-drama and do it successfully? We've seen it, but we haven't seen so many do it successfully. Because with Josep, like, K-pop Demon Hunters, you cannot deny that took off probably more than what people thought it would be. But he's done Business Proposal. He's done my favorite, Lovers of the Red Sky. I love that one with him. He's done Sold Out on You, which is airing on Netflix right now. But moving right along, let's talk about the latest, when we saw the Met Gala, which happened here about a week or 2 ago. Korean stars ruled the Met Gala. It was phenomenal. And, I know many of you have seen the pictures and so forth, but you saw Blackpink, all of Blackpink, not just one, all of Blackpink. You saw Lisa, Jisoo, Rose, you saw Jennie. They were all there. They were all ruling the carpet. Lisa was named one of the best dressed because the theme was fashion is art. And she had these 3D dimensional, arms that went along with her dress. People loved that. They thought that was so, just elemental for the Met Gala. You saw Josep there. Again, we keep talking about him because he's a star on the rise. I hate to say it to some people who say, why does she keep talking about him? It's because it is what it is. He's a star on the rise. And we saw Karina and Ning Ning from aespa. We saw them there at the Met Gala. Karina and Ning Ning look great. They did aespa justice. They did the Met Gala justice. We saw that. I think one of my most favorite characters, we saw EJ and Audrey from K-pop Demon Hunters. It's amazing. EJ was always singing about golden, but she showed up in this silver. They always talk about the silver memo. Who got the silver memo? If you got it, you were in it because Beyonce, who was one of the hosts of the Met Gala, showed up in silver. So EJ had this beautiful silver ensemble. Audrey doesn't miss. Let me just get that. She also stated that her grandparents were notables with working with the legendary Tom Brown. You can't miss that with her. Rayami was not there, but these girls, they're having their moment, and it is their moment for right now. But I think notably, if we're going to talk about somebody, her name is Jung Ho Yeon, who is a Korean model. Shut the Met Gala carpet down. That dress she had on visually was just so beautiful, but it took well in pictures, because sometimes you'll find out that people have on these beautiful ensembles in their dresses at the Met Gala, but they don't photograph well. That photographed extremely well. She was also on the best dress list. So congratulations to all of the Korean K-pop artists and actors who were at the Met Gala. That's a huge feat. I think we're going to see more of that. I'm happy to see them there. But don't miss out on those moments, because I'm telling you, K-pop is doing its thing. If we're talking about more things, we've got a lot of new music that's coming out this week. We got Baby Monster with Choom that's coming out. They're putting out new music with Choom. We have 50/50 that's coming out with new music. I believe their song is Starstruck. You have In Mix with Heavy Serenade. You've got Espa, that's coming out with Zoom Zoom. Zoom Zoom. You have Cordis Red Red. You got Longshot coming out with Yeah Yeah. It's just so many different people. And I'm going to end on the new music note saying none other than one of my favorite artists ever, Mingy, has just put out Fix Off, which is, a kind of continuation to one of his debut projects called Desire. So, check that out and look at that. And thank you for that new music for the summer. We're going to be listening and listening hard for those. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. There was a lot to talk about, a lot to say. We're ending it now, but thank you so much for being here. Until next time.